Hey guys, JT and Coach JT, Coach Campbell, and Coach Larry here tonight with Chalk Talk Wednesdays with Inside the Dugout, and we are so excited for this conversation. We just finished up. Coach Larry did a practice, and he is excited. What is he going to talk about tonight, Campbell?
So tonight, Coach Larry wants to talk about when you take over a new team and if you have people on the team who fight you, what you should do in that situation. So I'm going to hand it over to Coach Larry and he can kind of explain his situation to everybody.
Yeah, and before you do that, Larry, I want to say in real life, this never happens.
If it does happen, run. Run. No, I mean you every coach is gonna go through this one time or another. It's inevitable. And especially if you're doing a travel team, you have new kids coming in every year. And in your instance, we're taking over a new softball team from a previous organization, and they had their ways of doing things and they were used to their ways of doing things, and then we come in and we try to implement our ways of things, and you're going to get some pull and push from kids. And don't matter what level you are at or whatever, you're going to get that push and pull. And all I gotta say is, you stay strong. You believe what you're saying is right. You show them the ways that you're teaching them, and show them the ways that you would like the things to be done. And then, like tonight, for instance, I we had the girls hit the tee, and we're going oppo, and also middle. So we're staying closed. We're staying closed, and we're behind the ball, and we're going in the net. And then I let them go through one round, and I stopped and I told them why we're doing this. The reason why these drills are so important, and the reason why we're when you get on a tee, the first thing you do is you hit opposite field because you stay closed and you stay inside the ball, and you don't have to fly open. And then I showed him the reason why, if you do fly open, how much of the bat you lose by flying open compared to staying closed and going the other way of the ball. So they understood that. And you pretty much just got to explain to them why you're doing it and how you're doing it and why it's so effective. And after we did that, we I watched them and watched them, and then the ones that are fighting you, you kind of show them why they're fighting you. And the reason why is that hole is that big. And so then I'm doing soft toss and I'm front toss with them. And the one girl in particular that was fighting me, she has a hole in her bat because she's flying open every time. She has a great swing, but she's flying open every single time. She's very strong. So I started going oppo on her and started pushing the ball outside, and she's missing it. Or if she wasn't missing it, she was getting on the end of the bat and a little dribbler right by the L screen. And you see her getting mad and mad and mad. I'm like, stay closed, stay closed. And eventually, she started doing it without her knowing it. She started doing it just because she was mad. And all of a sudden, that ball goes to the right side and it was hit hard. I'm like, see? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, she's not going to give you
Yo, she's not.
that
She's
gratification, Coach.
not, because the next pitch is the same thing again, and she's just hitting it harder. And but eventually she's gonna figure it out. And like I told them after practice, I'm like, what, good job, girls. I go, you will hear things from us that aren't aren't things that you're always going to hear all the time in the last 2 years or in high school, whatever it is, like turning the back half, staying behind the ball, don't lunge, don't jump, one in, one out. All that's terminology that we do in the cage, and you're going to hear that from me and coach all the time. When you in 3 months when we go in our academy, you will hear that every single day, over and over and over again. So get used to that terminology. So it's just, they're so used to the old ways of doing things, and we're just bringing. I told him, I said, we're not telling you things for you to fail. I promise you that. We will make you very, very good in what you guys do if you just listen to us. I promise you that, and just keep on working hard. And once they realize that we're doing is good, they will get the hang of it. But they're gonna fight us. They're gonna fight us. And so any new coach out there that you have a new program coming in, or you get some new kids on there, no, it's not always their fault because they've been taught certain ways. And I'm not saying it's always bad or good or nothing like that, but you definitely want to put your stamp on the way you coach your kids and your teams, and the way you do things. And once you do that, they will start falling in. Because I guarantee you, in a month from now, when we have those girls in the academy or whatever it may be, they will understand my terminology. Because she even told me today, she goes, "Speak English to me," and laugh. I was like, "Okay, this is going to
Okay.
be good, man. This is." I go, We're almost done, aren't we? I gotta go. But I loved it because, I mean, she's going to be good. I mean, she has great tools and she's a catcher. But I think we're going to have to hone her in a little bit. And like I said, if we can get one on one with her and do one on one drills with her, it's going to be fine. But yeah, she told me, speak English. I'm like, I loved it. I like, okay, yeah.
So I got to tell you, Coach, I know exactly who you're talking about, and I had them all out there for a big long practice on Sunday, and we were playing this game at the end of practice, and we take the big deflated basketball and put it on the tee. It's a modified version of trash ball, Campbell, and I know you know what that is, but we play this game, and it's sitting on the tee, and you have one team on defense and one team on offense, and I give you very few rules. So it's pretty much there's a lot of leeway. And I do that intentionally so that they can get creative and try to control where the ball's being hit and trick people and all kinds of stuff. Well, some of the girls kept hitting the basketball off the tee, and it would go straight in the ground. And finally I said, "Hey, look, timeout. Let's talk about this. Why does the ball keep going straight into the ground ball every time?" And this particular girl looks at me and goes, "Because it's a basketball."
Yep, yep,
And I
yep.
goes, the basketball is the basketball. I mean, the basketball is just the feedback. It's just giving you feedback on what you're doing. So I took not her, but the girl that I was talking to. So it wasn't even this girl that I was addressing. And what was awesome was I took this other girl and I said, "Here, why don't you try to do this? Let your hips lead, stay behind the ball, and see what happens. I bet you it's not going to be a ground ball." So we let her take a couple without playing, and sure enough, two line drives. So then the other girl's up, the other one that we were talking about. She gets up, and you could see her kind of thinking, but she didn't want me to know she was doing it. And then all of a sudden she smacks the line drive into the left center, and I'm like, okay, right? So it's kind of like that thing, like, I don't want you to know you're right, coach, because I'm right. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
I'm right. I don't want you to let you know that you're right. But if everybody's riding a bike and everybody's getting really good and fast, you don't want to be the one that's left behind, right? So these girls, even though they're fighting you early on, or boys, either way, they're fighting you on early on. If you continue on your path and stay true to what you know is going to work for these kids, it's like that. Everybody's starting to really get better. And that one kid that's fighting you is like, "Hey, wait a minute. I'm the only one not really getting better. What's going on here?"
Yep.
And she'll change on her own. She's not going to tell you. She's not
No,
going
no.
to, "Oh, you're right, coach. Oh, you were right the whole time." No, she's just going to start doing it. And to be honest with you, I'd rather she have success than not anyway.
Oh,
So
100%.
start doing it. You don't have to give me credit. I know in the background that that's what's happening.
Yep. No,
And
I agree.
it's fine.
I agree.
But it can be challenging, especially if you're a new coach and you don't really understand that this happens all the time. It happens to me and it happens to you. And we've been doing this a long time. And it's happening as we speak, right? It happened today. And so there's no way of avoiding those situations. Um, but as a coach, you will be far more effective if you just stay with it. You can't
Yep.
be wishy-washy.
Mm.
The moment you're wishy-washy, the other girls start to doubt. And then you got multiple people doubting. Or the other boys start to doubt. And you got multiple boys doubting. And then you can't win. So
Stay true to who you are.
yeah. And I tell some coaches, I go, I coach this way. And I'm different than a lot of coaches. I'm a lot different than a lot of coaches. And For example, like I read all the time. I'm reading about coaches, I'm reading about leadership, I'm reading about psychology. I'm reading a book by on psychology right now because I want to know how can I get in these girls' heads to help them get better faster? Because everything about me is how do we get a team better faster? How do we get an individual better faster? How do I ensure that every single girl who plays for me or every single boy who plays for me gets to go to college and get it paid for, you know? And I know there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. So I'm always doing that. But there's other coaches that go and they just live on YouTube and they watch all these YouTube videos and learn these different things and they get better that way. And there's some coaches that just go out and they just have been doing it a long time and they just try this and then they try that and then they see this and they pick up on that and they just get better incrementally. And there's no right or wrong way. It's all great. It's all about getting better all the time. But no matter what way you do it, no matter what it is, you have to be committed. That's the biggest key. You know, if you're wishy-washy, you're never going to get that team to win. No way. You could be saying all the wrong things and be so convicted in what you're doing, you can get a team to win because they'll be together and they'll be doing exactly the same thing. It may not be consistent, but you can get them to win. Um, but man,
It's your style, man. Yes, it's your style. And
your personality, your style, every coach is different.
yeah, 100%. Not every coach, we're not the same. We may have the same beliefs in certain things, but I mean, we definitely do things differently on a lot of other ends. And the way you do things with girls, I do things with boys is totally different. And you can't do it the same way. You just can't. And that's one thing I have to realize. I mean, I have three daughters, but not one played softball. They
Yeah.
played one basketball. And like with you, we're at that game and they're cheering and they're doing little chats. I'm like, what the heck? But they all know what they're gonna do. They all know what they're saying. You have a ball, here comes another chant. Here comes a strike, another chant. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, I guess you're engaged. You're in the game. You know what's going on. That's probably a good thing because then they're not in the dugout sitting down talking to their friend about fantasy football like I had to deal with. These they just that's the way they stay engaged. But yeah, I mean, if you just say who you are, and you're doing the right things, and you're saying the right stuff, and you're teaching the right things, I mean they're gonna trust you. They're gonna follow you. But it's never gonna be the first day. It's never gonna be the first day or the first week. It's gonna they gotta trust you. You gotta be there again, and they gotta see you again, and they gotta hear your voice again. Like that parent. That parent tells you to clean your room up all the time. You really can't be a parent and a coach because in a higher level because that player is going to hear that voice as a disciplinarian, a parent and say, go clean your room up, do your homework, do this. Now hit a curveball or go hit send out a fastball, that kind of stuff, and it doesn't resonate with the same thing. And I had a good buddy of mine that I coached his son, and he was saying the exact same thing I was saying to his son, but his son wasn't comprehending what I was saying, what he was saying, like what I was saying. And so what I was saying was the same thing, but he resonated a lot better with me because I wasn't the dad telling him to go do your homework or you can't stay out this late or this or that or go mow the lawn. I'm telling him to turn your back half, stay behind the ball, stay close, think middle, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden he's doing good. And his dad goes, what are you telling him? I go, nothing different than what you told him. Nothing. I guarantee it. You play college baseball. I guarantee you're saying the same thing. But the voice he was hearing from me is not the same the voice he hears from you at home. And especially when after a game and you're talking to your kid about that 0-2 fastball you let go by, he don't want to hear that. He doesn't want to hear, you want to hear his dad saying, good job. He had a good game, this and that. So it's kind of tough as a parent. I mean, I know you got to do it low and a younger age, which is totally fine. But once you get to a certain age of 14, 15, it's not ever a bad thing to say, okay, let another coach maybe coach my kid or at the high school level, let that coach my kid and then see what he's doing. Then, if you see things, you can always help him out. you can always pull him in a cage and say, hey, maybe do this, maybe do that, because he's always going to still listen to you. But I've always seen, that's why, with me coaching these boys, I had nobody on that team. No nephew, no cousin, no son. It's just purely kind of love the game of baseball, and I want to give back to what I've learned for so long. And that's what happened at college. It happens now, and I love it. And you do get a bond with these kids. You get a bond with the girls. I get a bond with the boys. I mean, it's like it's time for them to go off to college. You're like, that sucks, man, because it's like you lose one of your kids, but a new group of kids are coming in, and the same thing over and over again, and the same thing over and over again. So, but yeah, just stay who you are. I haven't changed my coaching way of coaching for 20 some years because I'm the same coach. You can ask any of my kids I coached back in Canyon to now. I still use the sandwich drill. I have a positive, negative, and a positive, and I sandwich it together. You can never leave the kids with a negative because that's gonna be in their mind. They don't hear the positive, they hear the negative. You gotta be able to sandwich that positive with the negative and then put together, and now you leave them with a. There's times we lost games, and I was like, "What the heck are we doing?" And you try to find the positive. We had 3 hits today. That's a negative. But we scored 4 runs. How we do that? We walked, we stole bases, we put the ball in play, so and so and B, and then all of a sudden they made an error, we scored a run. That's a positive. Hey, and guess what? Tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow we're facing this guy, whatever it may be. You always look at the positive that's coming up for those boys. And so when they leave that ballpark, it's never a negative. It's always a positive they're going to be thinking about. So that's another thing as a coach you think about as a new coach is always, there's always going to be bad things happen in the game. You can always find something bad happen. But when you do that, make sure you find with a positive with it and put them together and make sure they leave with a positive reinforcement after that.
Definitely, man. Coach got on his soapbox a little bit there, didn't he? That's all right, brother. You brought up something interesting, you know, um, about coaching your kid because most of the new coaches and the rec coaches are there because they signed their kid up and they said, "Yeah, I could coach," and so now they're coaching. So, as a parent, the person you want to coach the most or to have the most success is your kid. And you're exactly right. It becomes how do I separate dad from coach? And it can be done. And what I had to do with my middle daughter Miley was I had to do that. I had to separate. I said, okay, when we're on the field, is it okay? I'm going to be your coach, not your dad. And when we're in the car on the way home, you tell me, do you want to talk to dad or do you want to talk to coach? And if you want to talk to coach, I'm going to be your coach, not your dad. If you want to talk to dad, I'm gonna be dad. And it's funny because we started doing this, and then every once in a while, you, without thinking about it, go into coaching mode. Like I go into coaching mode on my wife. I've been married to her for 24 years. I'll go into coaching mode. And they'll say, Dad, you're using your coaching voice. And then I go, oh, okay, okay. I need to go back to dad. I need to go back to dad. And that worked for me and that worked for us. She was the only one I ever had to do that with. So I don't know if that works for everybody. But it's just an idea. I know you're probably out there. A lot of young coaches are listening to this and they're saying, but it's my kid. I want my kid to do the best. Well, just make sure that there's a clear separation between coach and dad or coach and mom. Because if you don't make that clear separation with the kid, that's when you start to run into those situations where they don't learn as much from you at home and they don't learn as much from you on the field. And then you're doing both of you a disservice.
Yeah, 100%. There's so many. I'm not saying they're out there right now, but so many parents, so many coaches that coach their kids, and they got to separate when you played and when they play. I mean, it's that whole analogy. You're living through your kid right now. You're living through your kid, and when you do that, it takes all the fun away from that kid. I mean, it just takes it from them, and it just, I mean, I've seen it. It just takes the joy of being out there with their friends. And like I said, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, man, that's the best time. I mean, you ask any kid that plays travel baseball right now, a 12-year-old, and you ask him, how was that tournament in Omaha, Nebraska? It was good. What did you do after the game? We went to the hotel. We swam with my friends. We had picnics. We had this, we had that.
Yeah.
That's what they remember. They don't remember the games. They remember the time where they had with their friends. And same thing with our kids, 18-year-olds. It ain't about the experience of playing baseball. That's fun, yes, but it's what they do with their friends out at that ballpark or in the ocean or where it may be. So it's still a game, and that's what we do. It. We still have fun. We're on the field. It's still fun for us. You know, that's why we're doing it. And so many of these coaches trying to live through their kid, through their son or through their cousin or whatever it may be. Just think about this. You had your time. You're now 40 years old, 35 years old. Let the kids play. Let the kids, the umpires are going to make their calls. Nothing's going to change it. Nothing's going to change it. I mean, there's times that you get upset. Yeah, you want to ask what happened, but nothing's going. You can ask for the umpire to ask for help, but nothing's going to change that call if they have the call. So by you being what you're doing is being mad, kicking dirt, yelling at the umpire, shows no positive for at all to those kids. Nothing whatsoever. So then all of a sudden now the kids are yelling at the umpires, and now they're talking about the umpires, and now it's anarchy. And you can't have that because if you think about it, it all started with you getting mad at the umpire. And you can't have that. So you're more than a coach. You're a role model. And you're teaching these kids what's good and what's bad about playing sports. And that's why we're so down right now in umpires. That's why they have to go to robots now in umpires. That's why they have to have instant replay now for football and basketball. You gotta realize we're human beings and we make mistakes. We do it every day. So you just can't get upset with all this stuff. And coach, we're gonna see that in youth sports. I've when I was in Triple Crown Sports, they're talking about right now bringing robots in for umpiring for balls and strikes because parents get upset. These kids are 11 years old, 14 years old. I mean, you getting upset because the umpire called a strike that was right here and it should have been a ball? It happens. It happens.
Yeah, and usually these umpires are young kids, For the record, I am perfect, right, Campbell?
Right. Sure, buddy.
So I mean, if you look at it, it all stems down to what we first talked about today with the kids and how you're gonna have to just keep with it, and like I said, it all just teeters down all the way down to the first thing we just talked about. I mean, you just gotta be who you are, be true who you are, because the true coach will come out and you will be positive for these kids. And like I said, and we're not out here to live through our kids. We're not out there to live through those girls or the boys. We're out there to try to teach what we know and make these kids successful, not just on the ball field, but in life. Like you said, your main goal is to get these kids to the next level on their education, so they go to school. That's awesome. That's what my goal is too. But if you get them to hate the sport, the game that we love so much, and they hate it, this is a vehicle they can go with and go to college with because they're good at softball or baseball. And if they want to play, you can play. There's D2, there's NEIA, there's JUCO, there's anywhere you want to play, there's a team out there for you. You just got to go pursue it. That's all you got to do.
Amen, Coach. Amen. Let's hear from Coach Campbell. She's been pretty quiet. We've been preaching here all night. She probably has some things to say about this topic.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think like the most important thing you guys were talking about was just consistency. Like, with my officers, I can come to them and tell them like, hey, I think we need to have so and so in the lineup because of this, or like I think we need to do this because of this. But I found that the only thing that works for me is I just keep saying it until one of the officers brings it to the group. And when they bring it to the group and it's their idea, then that's when that gets put into motion. So I think just consistency. Consistency is the most important thing.
I find it interesting all the time that you're on this call talking about how you have to convince people who don't know half as much as you do about baseball that you're right, or to do the things that you suggest. I mean, you walked into a dugout full of 40-year-olds and told them all what to do. And yeah, they questioned you the first game, but how many of them questioned you after that? And how many of them questioned you when they were standing there with the trophy?
No, none of them.
Right? So it's almost hard for me to believe that that continues to be a challenge for you. And Coach, if you need Coach and Larry and I to go over there and, you know, bust some heads, we can do that.
Well, there are certain things they'll listen to me on. Like I just sent out a group chat and was like, okay, tonight's Halloween practice. We're showing up in costumes. Don't come if you're not wearing a costume. And I bet you that everyone who comes tonight is wearing a costume.
I like that. That's a good idea. You should have have a little inner squad today.
Yeah.
Inner squad, man. Get footballs out there. Play football. I mean, just do something fun. Use tennis rackets as a bat and have hit tennis balls. I mean, that would be. I always want to be the dinosaur and run like this with little hands. And that's the best costume in the world.
Those of you who haven't seen Coach run, that's actually what it looks like.
Oh, I don't run no more, guys. Trust
No,
me,
I'm
I
just
don't
kidding.
run.
I'm just kidding.
I don't run no more to the table. That's about it. I don't run nowhere else. But no, that's a good idea, Campbell. I mean, lighten it up a little bit. Like I said, it's towards the end of the fall. I mean, make it fun for these guys because, I mean, they have finals coming up in a month. You guys have finals coming. I mean, make it fun for them because then once January hits, you guys are out and running. Here you guys are good playing. I mean,
Yeah.
college baseball is the best because you have fall baseball. You go from August to November, and then you have a break. Then you come back and you may have maybe 3 weeks of practice, winter workouts. Then you go home for Christmas break for a month. You come back, and within 2 weeks you're playing games. I mean, and then here's the end of the year already, and it's baseball is probably the best because it's in the end. You know, it's in the springtime, but you never stop. You go from fall all the way to spring. So that's why it's so good because football, you start in the fall and you're done, and you may be off like 2 or 3 months, and then you go back on and back in practice again. Baseball, you don't stop; you just keep on going. So that's why it's much better.
Best game ever made.
Best game.
I love it. Best game ever played.
Yep.
Well,
That's all I got for tonight. You got anything else to add?
I did a lot of talking tonight, guys. Sorry, just a lot of stuff happened to me tonight, man. Just I mean, I went in with a clean shaved head and a dry hat, and I left that place with a friggin' hat that was just soaking wet and no more hair. So,
Yeah, actually, I think Coach Larry went into the softball practice with hair.
yeah, I think so. I think so. It is definitely different working with girls and boys. I tell you what, it is definitely different, but it's all the same. They want to learn. You know,
Yeah.
you had those girls that want to learn, and they're excited for this weekend. Coach is having the first tournament this weekend with the girls, and it's our very first pack softball team, and they're going out there representing really well. I saw the new shoes they have on. They're all wearing the New Balance shoes, and they look pretty sharp. Coach, I mean, you did a good job. So I know they're excited.
Yep. Me too. All
Yeah.
right. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for being on this call tonight. If Campbell, you want to finish it up, I just want to say thank you for being here. I know you didn't say a lot. Hopefully, you learned a lot. What you did say was nice, and good luck. And take some pictures for us and practice.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely will.
We share
Yeah,
that on
thank
the
you.
podcast.
What's that?
Are we able to share that on a podcast next week? Is there a
I
way we
don't know.
share that?
We can share them in the community. She
Yeah,
can put some posts in the community.
Yeah, definitely do that.
I'll post it in the community. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
definitely.
Yeah.
All right, Campbell,
Yeah.
you gonna take us out?
Yeah, I'll take us out. As always, thank you all for joining us. We love being here. I love learning from coaches Larry and JT. I know I don't always say very much, but I'm just absorbing everything you're talking about, everything you're saying, because I love learning from you guys. Um, as always, If you have questions, please feel free to send them my way. And I look forward to talking to you all. Wait, well, you guys are still going to be here next Monday, or you're not going to be here?
We're going to kind of play to Europe, so that might be a pre-recorded show.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Not might, it will be.
So I say might because I'm ever the optimist. Larry looks at the schedule and says, no possible way.
Yeah, yeah. Nope, not a chance.
Well, maybe I'll find a guest speaker and I'll throw something together for all of us.
You do that, yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Bring a kid in from DU, man. Yeah, that'd be
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. Bring a
Yeah, well,
couple.
Mitch is begging me to be on the podcast, so maybe I'll have him on.
I love it. I love it, Campbell.
Well, and I just wanted to add in there also this weekend is Halloween weekend. Everybody, happy Halloween. Please be safe. And if you have Halloween practices, feel free to put them into the community as well. We would absolutely love to see that.
Oh, yeah. That would be awesome.
Yes, yes,
I love it. Well,
definitely.
good night, guys. Thank you.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.